Thank you, viewers. Welcome back. We thank God that today He has given us another day, and this night we are talking about overcoming the tensions of life. And our reverend verse comes from the book of 1 Kings 19, the life of Elijah. So meaning that even men of God can be stressed.
Yeah.
The stress has no age limit. Sometimes it can go to everybody, and we have defined what is stress. We have talked about the types of stress, why Christians get stressed, and how you can know that this person is stressed.
Yeah.
So we are at effect of stress, and what are these consequences of stress? Yeah.
Yes, Pastor. I've just mentioned before about this hormone called cortisol. Cortisol. Yeah, and we say that when it is actually found in people with chronic stress, and when it is produced in large amount over a long period of time, it causes physical conditions.
It causes physical conditions. This is a type of hormone.
Yeah.
When it's released.
Yeah, in large amounts.
In a large amount.
Over a prolonged period of time.
Over a prolonged period of time.
It has physical effects.
It has physical effect.
Yeah, and I told you it's a very helpful hormone, but also it can lead to hypertension.
Hypertension.
Yeah, you find someone becomes hypersensitive, and also it can suppress thyroid functioning.
Thyroid.
Yeah, and this is also related to your immunity. It lowers your immunity.
Oh,
so when you allow or you get stressed and to a level where you are stressed, it becomes chronic stress, your immunity can go down.
Ooh.
And then you become vulnerable to other diseases. Yeah.
Wow.
So it's good to address stress. Then stress also lowers the bone density, your bone density. Yeah, that the same hormone actually affects your bones.
Oh, okay.
And you read that in the Bible. I think it was it was David. I think Psalms 31 was something like that, where he said, while I kept quiet, still I can read it, while I kept quiet, my bones wasted away through my groaning all day. His bone was wasting away. Actually, stress affects also your bones.
It affects your bones.
It affects your bones. So you find people who have stress that is chronic and prolonged. They have high blood pressure. They have muscle weakness. They have mood changes. They become irritable.
Oh.
And those are some of the effects that it has. Some are short-term, others are long-term. And so when you feel your stress, it's good to find time to pray, find time to talk to someone, visit your pastor, go to a counselor, and talk to someone. Don't just stay there and suffer.
And I believe so many people are going through this.
Yes.
So you have said that there are effects, and one of them is that there is that hormone you have
cortisol. Cortisol is a hormone of interest here.
Of interest, yeah.
Yeah.
So when it's released in large amount, it causes some physical sicknesses like hypertension.
Yeah.
And then number two, you have talked about when these there is something that you have talked about. I cannot get it well. Number two.
Okay, I talked about bone density.
Bone density.
Yeah.
It affects your bones.
It affects your
So
bones.
become weary.
Yeah.
And it's very true.
It's very true.
Become weary and very weak.
And very weak.
And then you've caused about
immunity.
Immunity.
Yes.
Yeah.
It lowers your immunity.
Oh, it lowers your immunity.
And then you're vulnerable to other infections.
Oh.
Yeah, and also talked about changes your moods.
It changes your mood.
Yeah, you become irritable. And you have found someone. You met this person yesterday, you talked very well, but today when you meet in the morning, you say a good morning, and kwambia habari zangu utaziweza. The guy is irritable for no good reason.
Means you just reminded me some time back. I think this Mzee was very stressed, and I look at him. I didn't have a watch, and I asked him, Mzee, ni saa ngapi? And then he looked at me and said, ni saa za kununua yako. What is the problem? But that Mzee could be very disturbed.
Yeah.
Maybe he was stressed out.
He was maybe going through some stressful situation, and when you stress, you're so much irritable. A good morning can sound like an insult. And so, husband comes home and he asks, how was your day?
And
then
all of a
sudden
it
it bursts and becomes chaotic.
And this causes a lot of fight. Maybe stress causes so many things. Yes, let's continue.
Yeah, so so those are some of the effects. Yeah.
And I believe that viewers, you are listening to us, and maybe the effect you have talked about, you already in them. Or maybe you check in yourself and know that I'm going through this, I'm going through this, I'm going through this, I'm going through this, and it is really affecting your life. That's why we are here, to tell you how to overcome the tensions of life.
Yeah, and actually as Christians, you need to be on the lookout. Because sometimes we are so quick to give testimonies, and you don't allow other people to speak. As you give your testimony to someone, also ask them how they are, how they are faring. Listen to them. Because people are crying for someone to listen to them. Yeah, just get to know how they are doing. Just don't take just how is your family, all that. And sometimes you give the people time, they're able to speak out and pour out that which is within them.
Whatever you're talking is true. For example, there is a student that I was teaching. I teach computer IT. And this student was always very, very disturbed, very sometimes arrogant. He comes to the class, he doesn't want to talk, he doesn't want to do anything, and I realized there is a problem. So one day I sat there and asked nicely, what is the problem? And one of the questions he told me, asked me, Martin, what did I do to God?
Oh no.
That all the others are conceiving and having children. I don't have a child. And in fact, I've just said to my husband, now you can get married. Me, I want to leave.
Oh no.
But I thank God that after some time, now he has a boy.
Wow, that is a good testimony.
Yeah, that's a very good thing. Yes. Now, Reverend, do these stress have stages?
Yes, talking about the progression of stress. There are stages. And the first stage is the alarm stage.
The alarm stage.
Yeah. At this stage, people will try to get help. They not try to get help because they feel they are in control.
They're in control.
They are losing the grip of life, but they think they're still holding.
That is the alarming stage.
The alarm stage.
The alarm stage.
And usually, people, because of the body preparing itself, they feel motivated. They feel they're aggressive. They have a lot of energy. And you ask them what's the problem, they say nothing, because they feel they're in control. And because of that increased aggression, people try to fight or to do all they can. And they're stressed. They'll try to make things work for them. But if this continues, the stressor continues.
This is the alarm stage.
The alarm stage.
If it continues.
If the stress continues, they get to the other stage, which is the resistance stage.
Resistant stage.
Yeah.
Wow.
This is where they now the energy, the fuel that was been driving them starts running dry, and they experience what we call fuel shortage.
Fuel shortage.
And they start seeking for external resources. That's when you meet someone, and they tell about their problem, and you meet them tomorrow. They repeat the same story, not knowing they told you yesterday.
Oh.
They are seeking for help. I know you have encountered such people.
Yes.
They give you a story today. You meet at lunchtime, they give you another story. They meet in the evening, the same story. They repeat. They're trying to seek for help. And at this point, you find that people also have tendency of developing other habits, like oversleeping. Or they just lose sleep. They cannot sleep without any help. Some start doubting themselves because now you're losing it.
You're losing it.
Yeah, you start doubting yourself. And you are there at a place where you think you're in control, but you can see you're losing it. So that is resistance.
So we are talking about the first stage is the alarm stage.
Yes.
Yeah, you are losing the grip of, but you are not.
No, you're in control.
You're in control.
You're doing all you can. Yeah, you're aggressive. But if it continues, you start losing energy. And you find that this situation is getting out of hand. And you start seeking for outside help.
Wow.
So you talk to people, you resort to sleeping, yeah, or to eating too much. Because this, you are realizing that you cannot be able to cope with the stress. You get more energy and the fuel is running short.
So this stage now, when it prolongs,
yeah,
it goes to another stage now that we're talking about resistance.
Resistance, yes. Yeah. Resistance is what I just described.
Yes.
When now you start doubting yourself. Because you see now things are getting out of hand. And if it continues, it goes to another stage called the crisis stage. Crisis. And this is a very critical stage because it's a stage where one can crash down. Yeah. So in this one, the inner resources have been exhausted, and you've run out of fuel. And this is where an overwhelming sense of helplessness comes in.
Wow.
And hopelessness. And that's where Elijah had come. Where he ran away, and he had really what? Fighting the prophets of Baal.
Not.
And he won the battle. He killed them. Then he was threatened. He started running away.
It's true.
Then he comes to a point where he feels, I cannot handle anymore. And tells God, please take me. A sense of helplessness. And this is a critical stage because most people tend to resort to substance abuse.
Wow.
Because you cannot function normally. You want to take something that whatever calms your nerves, or that takes you away from your troubles. And so you see people drinking, they go into alcoholism, some go into drugs of abuse, and some also use other drugs. You may not call them drugs of abuse, like Piriton.
Oh, yeah.
But because you cannot sleep, what do? You have to swallow that tablet to be able to sleep. This is a critical stage because there's a crisis that is happening.
Wow.
And also people get suicidal ideations. You become hopeless and you just want to leave this world. That is a very critical stage.
Wow.
But if it persists,
if it's now from the crisis.
From the crisis.
You are coming from Adam stage.
Alarm stage.
Resistance stage.
Resistance stage.
Now to go to crisis stage.
Crisis stage. And you need to pick out and help someone.
Wow.
Because sometimes we face these people in church. Some give testimonies, some cry, some are coming for prayers. But it's good to know as you pray for that person, give them audience, allow them to speak.
Let them speak.
Let them speak out. Yeah? Let them share their problems, because by sharing they realize that they are not the only ones.
Oh, yes.
And they find many other options, because sometimes you come to a point where you find this only way, one way out. It's either this way or no way.
It's true.
And when you reach a dead end, the suicidal ideations start coming in.
Wow.
But if you talk to someone, you realize that they have also experienced the same thing. Or you go to a counselor and you explore other options, you realize that this is not the only way out.
It's true.
Yeah.
Wow.
And also testimonies. People give testimonies and you hear that someone was in a similar situation and God worked out for them.
It's true. It's true.
So if that persists, that's when now person gets a burnout.
A burnout.
Yeah. And burnouts are very, very difficult to treat. Don't like see someone who has experienced a burnout. Yeah, your body almost comes to a stop. Wow. Your systems, yeah. And you find someone going through a mental breakdown, almost like a mental illness. And this is actually depression.
Wow.
And it's not easy to heal. So if only you can prevent the earlier stages, that someone will not reach that kind of a stage.
Wow.
Yeah, and so person comes to that point and they crash down. And at some point, this is not a case for a counselor. You just see a psychiatrist, because that's gone beyond.
That's gone beyond. So these are levels. You've talked about the alarm stage.
Alarm stage, yes.
Still you feel that you're in control,
yeah,
and all that. And all of a sudden when it extends, it goes to what you've called resistance stage.
Resistance stage, yes.
And then from the resistance stage, we go to crisis.
Crisis.
Now, if crisis exists now, let's go to burnout.
Yes.
Wow.
Burnout. After that, you call it depression and mental breakdown. So stress can progress to those levels.
Wow.
Yeah.
Believers, I know, or viewers, I know that you're following. Maybe you are in a certain stage. It's good also you seek, because what people don't have, they don't have information. So what you're giving to them, our aim is to give them information.
Yes.
So when they have information, they know how to come out of this. Now, Reverend, I want us to come now to the last stage of our talk today. How to prevent or how to overcome stress, because that is the most important thing. How
to overcome stress.
Yes.
The problem, as I said, that all of us are prone to get stress. So the problem is not getting stressed. The problem is how you deal with the stress. Your attitude, your coping mechanism. And if you read John chapter 16, verse 33, these are the words of Jesus Christ. That I have told you these things so that in me you may have peace. In this world, you will have trouble.
You will have trouble.
You'll have
that
tensions.
Is John?
John chapter 16, verse 33.
Wow.
In this world, you have tensions. You'll have trouble. But take heart. I have overcome the world. And I think this is critical for every Christian to understand. That we are not devoid of this. We are actually promised that we're going to face trouble. We are still in this world. So when they come, remember Christ has promised us peace, the peace of God. And as we seek for peace of God, we also need to take care as Christians. Because sometimes we get stressed because of our own undoing.
It's true.
I'll start with your own house, space management. If you don't plan your house well, you'll be stressed.
It's true.
The morning you're looking for your comb, and you're harassing everybody, right from the car to the mother, everything, and you start the day in a wrong, on a wrong note. So you need to be proper planners,
Proper planners.
Plan your time.
Plan your time.
Plan your space.
Everything.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I know also pastors who give 1,001 appointments at the same time, and then you find yourself in a crisis. You want to attend to this and to that, and you cannot.
You cannot. It's true.
So you need to plan also your time. You also need to take time to recharge.
Take time to recharge.
Yeah. And you see when this guy, the man of God, Elijah, when God spoke to him, what did he tell him? Eat and drink. Recharge.
Recharge.
And I also always to call that self-care.
Self-care.
Yeah, you're still a human being, you're still limited. So don't overrun yourself with so many things. Have time for me time. Have time to reflect. Have time for leisure. Have time to recharge.
It's true.
Take a walk. Yeah, rest. It's very, very, very important. I'll also talk about prudent financial management.
Prudent financial management.
Yes.
Let's just have a recap. Number one, you've talked. Number one is you should have proper planning.
Planning, time,
everything. You know what you're doing. Plan. Number two, we've talked about if I can able to recall.
I talk about time to recharge.
Time to recharge.
Yeah.
It's good to
self-care.
Reflect back. Self-care.
Yes.
Take care of yourself because so many people are so busy.
Eat well.
Eat well.
My brother, you need to eat well.
I love that. I love that.
Yeah, need a balanced diet.
Balanced diet.
Exercise. Yeah.
There are people who don't have even time to take care of themselves.
There are people who take care of all the others. And especially pastors, I know we are prone to that.
Wow.
You can be busy taking care of everybody else and you forget about yourself. You need to take care of yourself.
Wow.
Yes.
Number three.
I talked about the prudent financial
management.
planning.
That's where the stress now is. Financial management.
Live within your means. Yeah. And take time to plan your finances well. So that it's not 15th of the month and you're broke borrowing from somebody or people and then you borrowed last month and you never paid. Then you find yourself in a financial or debt trap. Which can also be very stressful.
No, for example, on a Sunday, somebody came to my office, brother, and said, Pastor, I want you to pray for me. I don't know where my money is going. At least every day I get more than 2,000. But at the end of the day, I don't even have that money. I can only count for 700 shillings.
At the end of the day.
The 1,300 shillings, I don't know where it goes.
But who spends?
Yeah?
Who spends the money?
Him.
Yeah.
And he was very stressed.
I think that brother needs to just sit down and you help him to manage his finance, plan his finances, and to avoid what we call prompt buying, because that's what actually eats our money.
It's true.
Just see something and you are there, you just buy it. So in your plan, but remember, it eats from your finances.
It's true.
Yeah. Then there's also need to avoid unrealistic goals.
Unrealistic goals.
Being over ambitious. It's good to be ambitious. But if you cannot live this standard, yeah, be content to where you are as you work towards growing. Yeah, so because you don't want to chase after things that will stress you.
It's true.
At the end of the day. Yeah.
So there are people who are trying to live their life, the life that is not theirs.
Yes.
You know that you have this limit, but you want to go. You want to prove a point to people.
You want to live like so and so. Yeah, sometimes you get this from our partners. Your wife wants this kind of a life. Your husband wants to live like so and so. And so that brings stress in the family because you are not there yet there. Allow God to take you there step by step from one glory to another. Pole pole.
There is somebody I love so much. He's called Dr. Suleiman Prophet. And he said this, when you get money, don't think about impression, but think about your future.
Wow.
And that was very powerful.
Not impression, yeah.
Don't think about impressing. Because when people get money, they want to impress. They want to buy a car. They want to impress people. But think about your future. Every time money comes in your pocket, think about your future.
Think about the future. Wow, that's powerful. Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah. Then you need to refocus on God.
Refocus on God.
Yeah. Because when you realize that you're stressed, yeah, it's good to refocus on God. And you read verse 11 of chapter 19, you see that the Lord said to him, go out and stand on the mountain in the presence of the Lord, for the Lord is about to pass by. So he was actually running away, but God told him, go back to the mountain.
Go back to the mountain.
Because the Lord is about to pass by.
So it's good to refocus.
Yeah, and they were told that then a great and powerful wind tore the mountain apart and shattered the rocks before the Lord. But the Lord was not in the wind. After the wind, there was an earthquake. The Lord was not in that earthquake. But then there was a small, still voice. And this is the voice of God.
Wow.
So when you focus on God, there will be earthquakes, there will be all those things surrounding you, like storms. But listen for that small voice that will speak to your heart, and you'll be at peace again.
Wow, that's very powerful.
Yeah. Again, Pastor, you need to have what you call positive outlook on life.
Positive outlook in life.
In life. Yeah. So stop getting obsessed with your failures, with your past.
Wow.
Yeah. You know, many Christians I've encountered who are struggling today because they are prisoners of past events.
Prisoners of the past.
You failed last time, or you messed up last time, and you're living with that guilt, and it comes back haunting you. You need to let it go.
Wow.
Be positive. Be forward-looking, because there's much that God has laid ahead for you.
And you know that point you have said there, Reverend, is very powerful. That don't be obsessed with your past failures, or past hurts, past hands, and all that. And I believe so many people are there.
Yeah, because someone hurt you, you keep on going back there. You have a bitterness in your heart, and you keep on getting stressed over things you cannot control.
It's true.
Be forward-looking. Have a positive outlook on life.
Yes.
And you know again what, Pastor? You need to also apply a sense of life in this life.
Sense of life.
No, sense of humor in this life.
Sense of humor, yes.
Yes.
Somebody say, don't be lugubrious. You know, lugubrious is very serious and everything.
Come again, lugubrious.
Lugubrious.
That's a difficult word.
I mean, gloomy.
Yeah.
Just look hardcore.
Remember John 16:33? Be of good cheer.
Yes.
Yeah. Apply some sense of humor at home. Usikue hiyo lugubrious that you're saying. Yeah. A sense of humor in whatever you do.
It's true.
And sometimes you just smile at your own mistakes.
It's true.
Smile at your own problems. Apply a sense of humor.
It's true.
And another thing, learn to say no.
Learn
judiciously.
To say no.
Yeah.
Wow.
Because sometimes people are in stress because they don't know how to say no.
Wow.
Someone is borrowing you money and you know they cannot return. You just give, and then you end up getting stressed the rest of the month.
It's true.
If it's a no, it's a no.
It's a no.
Yeah. If you're not planned for it, no. And feel no sorry about it. Don't be apologetic about that.
It's true.
If you know you cannot handle it, don't engage. Just say no. And life continues.
It's true. It's true.
But again, you need to realize who you are in God.
Wow.
Develop your sense of worth.
That is
because before God, you are made to be more than a victor.
It's true.
You are, you see, you are what? How has God created you?
You're
fearfully and wonderfully made. Yeah, so know that you have a position in God.
It's true.
And no matter what happens to you, your life is in God's hands.
Amen.
So that's very important. And finally, have a philosophy of life.
A philosophy of life.
And this for us, a Christian, you know where you run to. Prayer.
Prayers too.
Be a prayerful person. Because when you tell God, I believe that He's going to handle the situation, why worry?
It's true.
When you have prayed.
It's true.
So prayer, release your frustrations to God. Things that you cannot change, just tell God, you know, in prayer. And the peace of God is guaranteed for you.
It's true.
Yes.
Wow, that is very powerful, Reverend.
Yes.
I can see my director telling me my time is up.
Yeah, time has run out very fast today.
Actually, we need more of this.
Yes.
Viewers, we have been talking about overcoming the tension of life, and I believe you have been following. If it is not you, maybe you know somebody else that is going through this. Please, you can able to access channels of help.
Yeah.
What you have talked about, you have talked how to prevent, how to overcome it, the stages of stress. Please make sure that if you are going through this, you can able to access. You can even write to us.
Yep.
Look Up TV. I know there are numbers that are passing there. You can even to us, and then when you write to us, we can able to reach Reverend. We can connect him, you to him, and be helped. Please don't die because of stress.
Amen.
You can manage it.
Amen.
And above all, God will preserve you. So Reverend, may God bless you.
God bless you too, Father.
Thank you for finding time to come.
Yes.
May God bless you. I know we will have more time to come.
Yes.
So viewers, one word for you, that God loves you. Loves you. One thing that I will pray for you is that God will preserve you in every situation that you go through. May God bless you and have a blessed night. This is Pastor Martin. May God bless you.